Hello, 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 everybody. So, question for you. Do you shy away from networking because these events feel too salesy or pushy for you? Hi, I'm Debbie Hoffman, and welcome to Follow Up Friday. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am a sales and follow up coach. I work closely with heart centered entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, even people in the financial world because of my Wall Street background, financial advisors. And I work with these people who don't have a reliable, effective sales and follow up system in place. And they're just kind of winging it. They don't know what to say, they don't know what to do. And therefore, a lot of clients and income are slipping through the cracks. And I support them to create a step by step process for their business so they have more ideal clients saying yes to working with them. So, knowing what to do and say at every step of the process is really critical. So today, I'm going to be talking about networking, and a lot of us are doing online networking right now. Some of us are starting to do in-person networking, and the things I'm going to share today some of them will be applicable to both. So, it's really obvious, hopefully, to all of you that networking online or in person is gives us a very unique opportunity to grow a business. It's a great way to build connections, build relationships, create trust, and find people who you can partner up with, who you can collaborate with, JV partners, power partners. And you also might find your ideal clients there as well. The mistake I see most people make when they go to networking, and I touched on this last week, is the intention that you go to a networking event with. And I suggest your intention should be to look for those people to partner up with. And if they're interested in what you have to do, they will lean in, but their hearts will be a lot more open. So if you didn't hear that video tip last week, please go back and look for it. But it is harder than ever now to get people's attention and to connect in a heart-centered way. And that will produce consistent sales results for you because there's so much noise, there's so much going on. And when you're in an online networking event, you're just this little square right on the screen. So how are you going to stand out? So today I'm going to share some tips of how you can do that. First, and this sounds obvious, but not everybody does it, have your video on so people can see you, right? And smile. When I go onto a networking event and I see all the Hollywood squares, the people who I'm attracted to are the people who are smiling and who are using their body language and that they're responding to what people are saying. They're engaged. Like those people I am drawn to. So that's number one. Number two, be prepared with what you're going to share in the chat so that you're not scrambling to figure it out and write it out then, because then you can't be present with what's happening in the moment. So have a Google Doc, a Word doc, and put in just your information, not a lot of stuff. You can share your title, and if you have a free offer or a discovery session, or even better, I wouldn't even recommend doing a discovery session, do a collaboration call, right? If somebody leans in and they're interested in what you have to offer and you're a coach and you offer a discovery session, then you would put that in there. But put in a link to collaborate. Or if you have a workshop coming up or something you want to offer to people. But the mistake I see people make is they make this post in the chat like 12 inches long. And it's like salesy and pushy and aggressive. So just short and sweet and how you want people to connect with you. Another thing you can do is when you have an event where a speaker is there, comment on what they're saying. Like if they say something that really resonates with you, comment on it. What I do is I put in the notes, I actually type highlights and put like bullet points in the chat of what they're saying. And they appreciate it so much. The host of the event really appreciates it. And then you're going to get attention because people are going to see you posting and chatting all the time, not posting, chatting all the time. Right. So that's a great way to get visibility, not get lost in the crowd, right? On this Hollywood square screen. So then when other people are chatting and making comments, chat with them, put the @ sign and put their name so they know you're talking to them and comment on what they just said. And then obviously, if somebody shares something that really resonates with you and you think they could be a great partner for you, reach out to them if they have the private chat available. If not, just again, put the @ sign and reach out to them and let them know that you'd love to connect with them. that you might be great power partners for each other. Maybe you can collaborate and ask them if they'd like to get together. Don't assume that they do. Ask for permission and just say, if you do want to get together, here's the link to my calendar, right? So it's super short and sweet. So those are ways that you can get more visible online when you're networking, to stand out, okay? Because otherwise you're just going to be this little, picture on a square screen. So you're not going to rise out from the competition. When you're in person networking, it's so much easier, obviously, because you can walk up to people and you can say hello and you can start a conversation. But here, online, you can't. So the next thing I want to talk about is how to build these connections. Because if you're not networking, well, first of all, let me ask you this. Are you networking online at all, or networking in person? Because if you're not networking, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to build connections and relationships. And now that all these online opportunities are available for us to network, it's actually a great way for us to get outside of our backyard, get outside of our community. Because when we're networking in person, you're just meeting people from your local area. Now you can meet people like from all over the world. Like, how cool is that, right? So please, if you're not attending networking events, start attending them. I actually host one on the third Wednesday of every month, and you can go to my website and sign up to attend. And I'm attracting heart-centered entrepreneurs from all over the world. But so here's what you want to do so that you don't come across salesy and pushy. Because have you ever been to an event, and this happened probably more in person, but it does happen in the breakout rooms as well, where someone is trying to sell you and trying to get you to become a client? Like, that just doesn't feel good, right? It just feels icky. So we don't want to be that person, right? So here's what you can do. Be prepared in advance with the questions that you're going to ask people when you're networking with them and in the breakout room. So be prepared, write them down so you know what kind of questions will elicit a response that will help you to get to know them on a deeper level. And always make it about them first. Like, resist the temptation to talk about yourself first, because when they get to speak first, you might find out something that you can support them with. Maybe they're looking for a new web person or a copywriter. You'll find out some resource or person they're looking for a connection to, and then you can become a valuable resource for them to be able to refer them to whoever they're looking for. So I always look for ways that I can provide value to people when I meet them networking. What are you looking for? What do you need support with in your business, or what kind of resources you're looking for, or technology tools? Like, how can I support you? So always be asking questions like that so that you can learn about these people's needs, and then you can become a valuable resource for them. Okay. And another key thing is to be present and to be a really good listener. When we were networking in person, what I found is that when I was talking to someone, a lot of the time they got distracted and they were looking around at who else was there. When you're online networking, that's not going to happen. But keep focused on the person. Be present when you're networking in person. Look them eye to eye. Don't look around. It's one of the biggest gifts you can give people, is the gift of your presence and your listening. People will really remember that, and they will really appreciate how much you were listening. And I'm going to share a really fabulous question. This is a little bonus tip for you to ask people when you're networking with them. And that is, what inspired you to start your business? When you ask that question, they'll typically share a very vulnerable story about something that happened to them in their life, some problem that they had, some struggle, some issue that they had that led them to get support. And they got such great results from that modality or whatever that service was that they received, that they are now doing it themselves. Like, how many of us have had that happen to us, right? Personally, I've had that. Like, so many of us have had that happen to us. So when you ask that question, you're going to create a deeper connection and trust, and the person will want to reciprocate and do everything they can to support you and learn about you in return. So be very generous, very generous. Now, when you're networking online, you do need to be mindful of the time. So if the host tells you you've got 5 minutes to share and there's 2 of you, then just each take 2 minutes and keep the time as well, because you want to be generous, but you don't want to run out of time so that you don't get to share what you do. When you're networking in person, it's different. But if someone doesn't ask you what you do and they keep going on and on and on, like, has that happened to you before? Like they never even ask and they just keep going and going and going and the fire hose is out and they're talking like so much and you're like, get me out of here. I know that's happened to me a lot in the past. So what you want to do is just gently interrupt them and just say, it's been great learning about you and what you offer. Would it be okay if I share a little bit about what I'm up to? And they'll go, oh, of course, of course. They'll feel guilty because they kept talking and talking and talking. And so definitely try that. It will make a big difference. So my invitation to you this week or for next week, whenever you go networking, is to be prepared with the questions you're going to ask, be prepared with what you're going to put in the chat, be mindful of how you can contribute and be of service and make a difference to the speaker or to the host or to the other people who are showing up. Like make it about them, okay? Now, I'm going to be covering a lot more about networking in my upcoming masterclass that's happening on the 27th and 28th of September. It's 3 critical mistakes that most entrepreneurs make that are costing them time and money. And I'd love to have you join us. It's going to be 2 hours, and I'm going to schedule a lot of time at the end for you to ask questions and get coaching support. So go to powerupyourfollowup.com/masterclass. powerupyourfollowup.com/masterclass. And when you attend the masterclass at the end, I have a very special gift that I've just created for this event. And it's authentic connections, or authentic conversations, 3 templates to connect and serve from the heart, sell and serve from the heart. It's really, really cool. So love to have you join the masterclass and to receive this free gift. So if you're listening to the replay, I would love you to comment down below on any insights, ahas, takeaways from what you heard today. And when you start implementing, please come back to this post and share what happened for you and what kind of results you got. I promise you, you will get much better results when you come to a networking event prepared and you show up in service to people. All right, everybody, look forward to seeing you next week on Follow Up Friday. Bye for now.